Gareth Davies compared Ebanie Bridges to Muhammad Ali in terms of a free spirit, a game changer. Now, I know a lot of you probably want to talk about the comparison to Muhammad Ali. I don't really want to get into that, really. I want to talk about not just Ebanie Bridges, but, well, let's start with Ebanie. She wants to change some perception about female athletes, that they can be feminine and competitive at the same time. I don't know why it's relevant, and who is it relevant to? Is this in opposition to what men think of female athletes? And is this an attempt to unite women against some outdated, ill preconceived ideas that the oppressive patriarchy have for women? I don't know where it's going. What groups are saying they don't like seeing Ebanie's outfits? Because I see just as much women complaining about other women over-sexualizing themselves. It was women who complained about the ring card girls in boxing. And there was some I'm not going to call him dumb, but there was a promoter in Britain who stopped using ring card girls. There was a volleyball team who, before entering the Olympic competition, they were petitioning to get rid of the shorts that female volleyball teams wear, which are a little revealing. And I think they got their way. So as much as Ebanie is saying there's a lot of women who want to express their sexuality, it seems there's just as much women who don't want that. I mean, who was Ebanie's biggest opposition to how she clothed herself? It was Shannon Courtenay. So when Gareth is saying that Ebanie can change boxing for women, well, the likes of Christy Martin, Layla Ali, they earn pretty well out of boxing. And I know it's only two, but if you look recently, the likes of Katie Taylor and Eddie Hearnstable, there's a lot of good fights out there between the women. When you say change it exactly, Ebanie Bridges is never going to earn the same as... She's a lower weight girl. She's never going to earn the same like Salvador Sanchez would have earned if he never died prematurely. She's not going to earn like that. Clarissa Shields is never going to earn like Floyd Mayweather. There's just not a market for it. Any notion that there's a system of patriarchy holding women back in boxing is false. Clarissa Shields can say what she wants to say, but she never went through what Jane Couch went through. Hell no. Frank Warren is talking about, we're going to get into women's boxing. He said the problem we had back in the day, there just wasn't many good females about there. No, that's a lie. Frank said, I'm never going to deal with women's boxing and people have got to accept it. That's what he was saying. He's acting like, he had a look, but he didn't see any quality that he wanted to broadcast. No, he just didn't want to fuck with it, period. Jane Couch had to go abroad and fight world title fights. She won a settlement against the British Boxing Board of Control for a restraint of trade. Frank Warren and Frank Maloney just laughed at her and mocked her, literally. Ebanie getting augmentation to her breasts is not changing the perception of female boxers. In sports like bodybuilding for women, augmentation is actually par for the course, isn't it? Or WWE. They've all got enhanced mammaries. Ronda Rousey, her breasts look natural. She made a fortune from UFC. She wasn't unattractive, in my opinion, but they would talk about Ronda like she was a beast. The way she was dispatching her competition. We later found out that a lot of the women she was fighting was subpar because, just like women's boxing, women's MMA in certain weight classes, the gene pools can be pretty weak. Ebanie, 5 wins, 1 loss, 2 knockouts. Out of them 5 fights, only 2 of her opponents have winning records. That was her debut opponent, who was 2-1-0, and Shannon Courtenay. So, Gareth Davies, look, he shouts off a lot. He's a Tyson Fury fanboy. Very irrational man. Not a very good journalist for boxing. Especially for a mainstream journalist who's supposed to give the quote-unquote casuals a more realistic picture of the game. The whole Ebanie Bridges, free spirit, Muhammad Ali comparison, I don't know where to start with it. The fact that she has a relatively mediocre record and is on the big stage is not really a game changer for women. It's telling women that I have to look a certain way. for them to take me serious rather than my boxing. Muhammad Ali won Olympic gold in 1960 in the Rome Olympics. He beat Alan Hudson in the AAU finals. He was a prolific amateur. He had a consortium behind him when he turned pro in Louisville, Kentucky. What, do you think they're just going to let a black guy get on the big stage because he talks a lot in the 60s? No. He had to be able to throw hands. So let's not get that twisted. According to the WBA, Ebanie is not even a top 10 fighter. But yet she's already fought for a world title. So the whole notion that this is some revolutionary movement with Ebanie, I'm not so sure about that, you know. There are probably a few fringe demographics who don't approve of her flashing her assets about. And one of them demographics are feminists. The same ones who didn't want ring card girls because it's exploitation. Not asking the ring card girls if they felt exploited. And they came out on Good Morning Britain and said, how dare these feminists try to talk for them? They said they're not being exploited. They enjoy what they're doing. Some of them were saying they were felt empowered by that. Yeah, there's a lot of chauvinistic men out there. But for the most part, you want to box in England or Australia, they let you box. Go and box then. Go and box. You come to the gym, it's no big deal. It's no big deal no more. And all this ownership of your body. Look, women getting breast enhancements, especially to make them larger, is going to bring about judgment from men and women, especially if you wear them in revealing bras and lingerie. Well, is she getting sexualized? No more than Anthony Joshua is from certain females, or Cristiano Ronaldo. You could argue there's 11 contenders ranked higher than her who we've never heard of. And there's 4 champions, one of which is Shannon Courtney, who most of you wouldn't be very familiar with. Mariana Suarez, WBC, Maria Cecilia Roman, IBF, Dina Thorsland, WBO. Muhammad Ali never pushed in front of no contenders because he was brash talking or considered good looking. He worked his way into contention to fight Sonny Liston. He beat Doug Jones in that 10-round eliminator. Some people think he lost it. It was very close. I'm sure there's a few of them girls ranked above Ebanie who are pretty free-spirited individuals. Most women who go into boxing have to be relatively free-spirited because it's not the norm. But they're not getting the attention that Gareth Davies is giving Ebanie. Maybe because a lot of them don't have big plastic breasts enhanced. And I'm not getting mad at that and angry at that. I'm just presenting you the facts as they're presented to me. To me, Jane Couch's story is more revolutionary. The fact that she was bullied by 2 of the premier boxing promoters in this country, had to go take the boxing board to court to win a settlement. The fact that men have constantly berated her on her appearance and looks, even up till today. And she's still here to tell her story. That's more revolutionary than what Ebanie's doing. I don't think Ebanie's doing it to free the shackles of oppression that women are feeling. I think she does what she does because she's a grown woman and it makes her feel good and it works for her. It's as simple as that. The more relevant discussion here, in my opinion, is slut-shaming in regards to women like Ebanie who appear to be very sexual in appearance. Men traditionally have used slut-shaming to control women who they are a little intimidated by. There are some women who know what they want in life and they just go out and get it. And whether that's money or men, gold diggers perhaps, or just women who like having sexual rendezvous. There's always intimidated men. But what I'm finding, like I've said, let's not just throw this on men. I think there's a lot of women who may not have the confidence of certain women who indulge in slut-shaming as well. Probably even more than men, actually. Now, unless you know Ebanie personally and you're calling her a slut because of what she looks like, well, that's fool on you. And these are attitudes that society is going to take whatever time it takes to wean out. And maybe never. Just like racism. I mean, she wouldn't be a slut if you was getting the pleasure, would she now? Unless you're paying that woman's bills, or she's your daughter, or you're in a relationship with her and you have proof that she's cheating on you. It's none of your business anyway, who she wants to fuck from who she doesn't. It's not your business. how she wants to dress or carry herself. It's none of your business. A lot of men need to get over themselves. They do. And a lot of the women in the feminist movement, they need to lighten up a little as well. You can't speak for every woman. Some women like having sex with men, have high libidos, and some women like being very sexual. Some women don't want to be like you. Some women want to be wives or girlfriends, and they want to do stuff for their man that you might think is outdated or oppressive. You know, like the household duties. And they're happy doing it. But you're trying to tell them they're not happy. If you're offended by that, you're going to have to bite on it and allow her to live her life instead of saying, oh, well, I know what's better for you. I will say, if she doesn't start producing, though, in the ring, and it turns out she is a mediocre fighter, then we'll have to call it for what it is. It's been a gimmick. It's been a gimmick. What she has in her favour is she showed tremendous courage in her world title attempt against Shannon Courtney. And it was a very good fight. But I'm not down with the slut-shaming, no. I'm a free spirit. I'm a very much a not nosy person at all. I don't like people telling me what I can do from what I shouldn't do. And I don't like that. And I don't tolerate it. There's certain things that people do. I don't want to see it in front of me. I don't want it in my house. But passing judgments, and I try not to. I'm not saying I don't. I think we all do at times. But it's not the first thing on my mind when I start the day. Now, some people might say it's a little bit of a cop-out. But I'm just going to raise the question. Now, Ebanie, by all accounts, in the WBA's opinion, is not a top 10 bantamweight. But is there a compromise there for women's boxing that she might not be the best, but her fight with Shannon Courtney done a lot to raise the profile of women's boxing, partly because of how Ebanie looks and how she markets herself. And she produced in the ring, and so did Shannon. Shannon's a pretty girl too. I know in the comment section you're going to say she's ugly, she's atrocious. No, she's quite pretty too. I don't think it hurt that they had two pretty Caucasian girls, blonde Caucasian girls, in the ring. It didn't hurt the profile of women's boxing. And let's face it, the profile does need raising. But when you compromise in a situation like this, you can lose authenticity where perhaps females who don't have them same aesthetics as Shannon and Ebanie, but they can fight, they don't get the same push and promotion. And you could be setting a template. I'm not a big Clarissa Shields fan, and it's partly because of her personality, I'm not going to lie. But I don't think Katie Taylor is a better fighter than Clarissa. I think Clarissa is the best female boxer out there. Now, she often complains that she don't get the same opportunities as the dudes. But the way she argues her point, it puts people's backs up, it puts their noses out of joint a little. I'm not going to lie. But I do ask myself, if she was Caucasian, would it make a difference to what opportunities in terms of marketing and purses opened up for her? And I believe it would. I believe it would. But that's the world we're living in. You know, some people need to ask, why is she so defensive? Why has she got such an attitude? And a lot of that is her being a dark-skinned black woman and the perceptions she has to fight every day because of that. Now, as a black man, a dark-skinned black man, I'm bound to point that out before Gareth Davies. So what he sees as revolutionary in women's boxing is a little different from what I see.